Matt, well, lovely to see you. Obviously, a really important evening here, and I guess the first question is to talk about the power of football at nights like this. The fact that it can reach in and speak about mental health, it shows sort of the presence in the community of this club, but of the game more generally.
Yeah, 100%. I think, as you say, football is so powerful in that respect, and obviously wellbeing is important to all of us. But if football is able to kind of cross boundaries, if you like, and it can not only support the fan base that we have here and help to raise the importance of well-being, both from the fans' perspective and obviously everyone that's involved in the football club, then I think it's a hugely important evening. So.
And it opens up those sort of conversations, doesn't it? I think 200 people, 27 groups. I mean, that shows just how sort of binding football can be, I guess, to bring all of those groups from different sort of aspects of mental health together in one room in one evening. No,
definitely football, as you said, is a great vehicle for doing things like that. And as you say, it's great to see so many people that are coming to an evening like tonight, because from my standpoint, obviously well-being is huge in the work that I do at the football club, but it's great to see so many people share that kind of interest and understanding the importance of well-being. And as you say, I think it's ever more so in society these days that well-being is at paramount of everyone's kind of the forefront of everyone's minds, I guess.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about your role and how it works at the football club sort of day to day for you.
Yeah, so my role is I'm a performance psychologist, and I guess well-being is a huge part of the work that I do here. In many respects, I help people to do what's important to them, and obviously from a player's standpoint, it's about performing on the pitch, and in some respects, it's about supporting them in a variety of different ways. But fundamentally it's about encouraging them to be to who they are as people, but also hopefully on the football pitch to be the best that they can be, and hopefully that way they can achieve what it is they're looking to do, both in the short term but also the long term throughout the rest of their careers.
There's so many different aspects of football, the technical, tactical, sort of data sides of it. How big is kind of psychology, and do you feel it's a little bit of an untapped area? Do you think it's an area that has a lot of potential in the game?
I think it's I guess it depends on who you ask, but I think probably in answer to your question in relation to is it untapped, and I think probably 20 years ago it's probably less prevalent within the game, but I think ever more so now. I think people are starting to understand the importance of psychology, because I think we're all human beings first and foremost, and performers second to that. So I think if you can understand each person as an individual and find ways and means of connecting with them and trying to get the best out of them, then I think, hugely for me, psychology is a really important part of allowing players to be the best that they can be.
And in terms of this club, is it something that the players come to you and speak about? Is it something that's sort of built into their schedule? How does it sort of work?
It's in a variety of different ways, really. There'll be some players that will come and seek me out. There'll be other players that I go and seek them out to have a conversation. And there'll be other players that I may have developed relationships with over a longer period of time. I've been at the football club almost 8.5 years now, so there's players that are now in the first team environment that were previously in the academy that I would have worked with for quite some time. So it's nice to continue those relationships. They progress their careers through the football club. So I guess it works in a variety of different ways, but we try and find the best way for them as an individual to interact with me as and when they feel they need to. So.
And I guess there's the human element to it as well, and you spoke about it's developing those relationships where those players, young, old, all different age profiles, are willing to sort of speak to you about stuff and open up. So I can imagine that is a challenge within itself and probably takes time to form those bonds.
Yeah, of course. Players need to feel they can trust you first and foremost, because without that in place, then the players aren't going to be kind of open and honest about how they're thinking and how they're feeling, and talk to you about their everyday lived experiences. So developing those relationships of course is really, really important to the work that I do, and hopefully that the players understand and recognise that when they do have a conversation with me, it's a safe place and it's confidential. What we talk about is not going to be shared with other players or other members of staff. So hopefully they understand that and find this as a place where they can come to and speak to me as and when they feel they need to.
Do you see, obviously we're speaking after Leeds, we saw like the likes of Lucy Mahova, Elliot Miles get some first team minutes. I can imagine that's a very different conversation at this stage to perhaps some of the senior guys who have sort of seen and done it. So I can imagine there's quite a range in your conversation.
Yeah, players have obviously different needs at different time points, and as you said there, players are at very different stages in their careers. Young players will have different experiences compared to someone that may be at the back end of their careers. So players clearly have different needs, and we try and best support that in the best way that we can, based upon where they're at in their careers and what they need are at any specific time point.
Yeah, and just finally for me, obviously increasingly in football we see young guys sort of taken out of foreign countries, brought over to England, and there's an expectation, there's a big fan base that expect them to perform. Sometimes there's price tags. Is part of your role sort of trying to break down some of those elements, because it's the pressure element, it's the social media element. It feels like there's a lot more pressure on sort of the modern footballer than, as you say, maybe 20 odd years ago, or maybe in a slightly different way.
Yeah, I think the pressure's the same. I think it's just now everybody has an opinion. As you saw, obviously, with the progress that social media has made over the last kind of 5 to 10 years, then clearly everyone has a view and has an opinion about how a certain individual may have performed or how the team has performed. So from that standpoint, then obviously we need to help and support those players. They all have their own ways of kind of managing that and dealing with that, but back to your point around those kind of players that may have joined us from overseas, it's a big change for them, it's a big transition, and again we try and help them in the best way that we can and try and make sure that initial kind of onboarding process is as comfortable for them as it can be, and hopefully if that is a smooth transition for them, they feel settled as quickly as they can be, they feel part of the football club, and hopefully that helps their performances on the pitch.
Top man.